From Sand to Stone, a kaleidoscope of time. When war was in the air, a review of economies and trade from old world to new, experiencing the world anew. A review of history, episode review, time capsules and mission control 2001 to 2025. Locations: Doha, Qatar, Harvard Square, USA, Qatar Airways, KLM Flight Path, Schiphol Airport, Heathrow, Air Canada. Format: narrative blockbuster film trilogy, Hollywood blockbuster series, covering multi-continent and country locations. What is time? Is time infinite or absolute? Are humans separate from universe? Time is not measured by clocks, it is captured in questions. What is faith and what is culture? Separating faith from state. Carved into conversations and monumental discussions from leaders who lament for the future, creating impactful change and legacy investments within their communities.
Monumental discussions, raising brand awareness, the impact of a life-changing discussion that challenges or changes our conventions for trade. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. You can lead a human to knowledge, but you cannot make them think.
That wasn't poetry. That was a true lesson from Universe, true to his namesake. I trusted the policy as a true servant of Allah, a challenge as a scientist to provide a plausible solution, a mission wrapped in metaphor. History is a trail of rare assets. The line between faith and governance wasn't rebellion, it was preservation. It was legacy. It was a challenge to understand. Could old world and new world traditions and scientific innovation share a classroom? Review of history of a developing nation.
Define time, a challenge proposed by the Qatar team in history.
Every memory and every experience is of value. And just like that, a theorem was born. Time equals E equals me squared. Thought in motion eternally. Energy integrated. Veritas, truth, vibration. Energy. Reading truth's accurate sensor, Chukchmuch, meets Einstein in theory meets spiritual science. Energy of mind emotion creates time. Thought in motion eternally. 2014 to 2012. Concept connection, bridging human connection to the space-time continuum. Dictionary.com defines freedom. Used in context, it felt like it was penned from a man I once knew. I could never teach him freedom as I knew and understood it. Finding the opposition to balance human to see what I cannot. While some people I have met have cowardly rules with cowardly customs demonstrating a total lack of inability to accept responsibility and stand as real men or women and people. Culture permeates troublesome, impeding an individual's right to learn. Meeting at your level, squaring off in context and kind. I share this passage using my voice as Vox Populi, with humble understanding as an imperfect human being living in a perfect world. What is freedom? The spirit of gifts of freedom. I'll assort to the conditions of a slave. It seems to me that life is no life without living death, without that freedom. The cause of freedom owes her much. The country owes her much. Under the eternal urge for freedom, we became an independent nation. Because we are free, we can never be indifferent to the fate of freedom elsewhere. They add up only to a tiny fraction for the price that has been paid for our freedom. It is not profane that I now say, with a great price I obtained this freedom. There are those in the world who scorn our version of human dignity and freedom. Freedom is one of the deepest and most noblest aspirations of the human spirit. We believe that all men and women have the right to freedom of thought and expression. From the unknown poet, I speak for you. I hope to use my voice for those who cannot speak, when they have none, as an independent leader in thought, in the hopes that the people who lead will have good sense, and the people who have good sense will one day get power to serve the collective and make decisions for those who are stewards of the land, living with the land, not on it. Qatar Vision 2030 aims to create a society where freedom and prosperity are shared by all, ensuring a bright future for generations to come. Freedom is not just a word, it is a question that nations bleed for, a question that lovers whisper between stolen kisses, a question that enslaved minds fight to answer. What is freedom? Is it movement, expression, choice? Or is it the responsibility to become what you were always meant to be? We mapped culture's influence on innovation, diagnosed the blocks to knowledge economies. Result? 150 calls to action, a roadmap from Qatar's Vision 2030 to ABC IQ solutions for the Earth's Vision 2050. From servant leaders to sovereign thinkers. What is culture, and what does that mean when I look to the north, east, south, and west?
Reading Lolita in Tehran.
Iran whispered through the pages. Women, resistance, playing Judas to my own Christ, echoed the words of Azar Nafisi. Revolution beneath silence. Margaret kept on reading, and we discussed the ways of the world and its operations. This trip in 2012 proved to be a life-changing experience.
What is Veritas? Being introduced to the word upon entry to the Harvard gates. Reviewing Catholicism through Colleen McCullough's book to television, The Thornbirds in 1977. This year challenged all levels of my conventions. I was all but 5. It was some 40 years later that I would meet Margaret Carson as Maggie, and we would discuss Christian Protestant to Catholic Christian sects and Islamic policy bridging faith to science. This is my Veritas, this is my truth.
I had never heard the word. It was a new language and experience for me. There were key things that were certain concluding our visit. From Harvard Square to the Supreme Court of Canada, in October 2018, my heart wept in pain. What does it mean to serve? As I stared at all the leaders who served in Canada, staring at all the male heads and one female who served as Canada's highest leadership for the Dominion of Canada. America wasn't just tired, it was depressed. Reform wasn't enough. The soul of a nation needed recalibration. Education and healthcare reforms were required. The American people at the very least deserve quality healthcare and education. This from a privatized nation and differing policy. In my inherent constitutions to the State of the Union, we do differ in policy, and I shall meet you square on to define equality and values as I am a Canadian.
We are all but a genesis of thought, separating faith and state. Meeting infinite intelligence, the ABC IQ team experienced an Abraham workshop and asked for permissions to use the content in our programs. Crediting source, we acknowledge Esther and Jerry Hicks and the teachings of Abraham Now. Foundations of Mind Science applying the law of attraction to the multiple intelligences, as coined by Dr. Howard Gardner, founder of the Multiple Intelligence, professor at Harvard University.
We were tuned in, tapped into source, for the world's kids, for the collective. Our results: students are not broken, the system is. A paradigm shift was required. I asked the question at Harvard's admissions: has any student ever challenged the organization for a doctorate based on field research? One student had succeeded in the institutional history, and we were given the name of a professor who might be able to help us out. We sought them out but had no luck. Betting long. It doesn't mean it can't be done, right? Go forward, Shell, rang true from Margaret's lips. That was in 2012, developing tri-sector leadership programs. Truth is an opinion. It's a constant, like time, when properly understood. From the sands of Qatar to the stone gates of Harvard, one truth echoed louder than any lecture. Time is not what you watch, it's what you move. We are all keepers of thought, all leaders of motion. And when we place faith in knowledge and culture in conversation, we do more than think. We transform. Pain becomes paint. For every question, there is a definitive answer and a solution. Because feeling better creates better solutions, though inspired action. Problem-based learning through the arts. I have a dream. To create it to reality. That's not just education, that's evolution. Ever forward 7 stars until Sunday. Visit ABC IQ for more information on ABC IQ books to television.